There's a lot of people using them. So what are the challenges to adopting these things? So now I'm going to be pretty aggressive. First, perceived high price. First, the market studies of price are not accurate. That same Lux report that predicted that growth also said you can get ultracapacitors for 5 cents a farad. That's not right. I guarantee you that's not right. But what I will say is the 1 cent per farad or any number of dollars per farad is it's a moving target. So you have to be really careful with it. And the reason is, if you look at products that are large ultracapacitors versus products that are small ultracapacitors, the overhead associated with making a big one and making a small one in terms of labor, in terms of equipment, in terms of capital depreciation, in terms of facility, is about the same. Thank you. And so you can't really say pennies per farad for a 3,000 farad cell and pennies per farad for a 650 farad cell. They have a chunk of their cost that is really the same for both, and the only difference and savings is in the most important part, the electrode or the energy storage. There's a perception that one technology has to do it all. Ultracapacitors should be used for their strength, and you shouldn't force the other technologies. There's a perception that they're dangerous. Well, I don't know any ultracapacitors that have burned up a UPS 737 or a vehicle or a laptop. Just not true. It's not true. Yes, there's safety considerations. If gasoline wasn't in a car today, it wouldn't be in a car because everybody's so hypersensitive about putting that stuff in there. But it's in there, and it's safe, right? So if you can do it with gasoline, you can do it with ultracapacitors, you can do it with batteries. Just a lot of different considerations, batteries to capacitors. There's a lot of regulatory ignorance, I'll call it. Regulatory being lithium-ion batteries under a lot of pressure, how they're shipped, how they're handled, how they're managed. Ultracapacitors are getting lumped in there. Oh yeah, they're energy storage, throw them in there. They're nothing like a battery, and it's making life difficult for the uptake of these devices because there's rumors, there's all kinds of inaccurate representation of what an ultracapacitor is. There's legislative bias. Gee, is that news to anybody? The money goes where the political pressure is applied. Lithium-ion batteries are getting the lion's share of it. I hope you're not offended. Oh, you didn't say you aren't. You're supposed to say, I'm not really. Okay. Hype and smoke. So here's where I hope you don't think I'm bashing technology. Lithium-ion batteries are oversold. No question about it. That's not coming from me as an ultracapacitor guy. It's coming from me as a guy who reads the paper. New energy storage materials that are years to decades from realization really cloud the landscape. So the Nobel Prize in graphene was awarded to 2 scientists in 2010, yet graphene, our investor relations guy gets calls every single day. What are you doing about graphene? How come you don't have graphene in your ultracapacitors? How come graphene's going to take your business and just, take it? It's very difficult. The materials research area and the energy storage research area, everybody's needing money. Everybody's out there talking about all the good stuff they're doing, but it's really clouding up and making the focus difficult on what's real today and what you can use. We're lacking a broad set of market leaders. So Maxwell has been told by a lot of our customers, we're the market leader. There's a handful of other companies, but there's not a lot of depth there, admittedly. It makes second sourcing difficult. It makes reliable quality difficult. There's weak technology standardization. Ultracapacitors still seem very new to a lot of people. It leads to confusion and interference when you adopt because you look at one, you look at the other, and they're an apple and an orange, and you're trying to figure out where's the banana. And then more hype and smoke. The buzzword in China right now is ultracapacitor. Lithium-ion phase has gone. Everybody that was going to get government money for lithium-ion battery development in China has already gotten it. Now they're all starting to talk about ultracapacitors. Even the guys that are making lithium-ion batteries are starting to talk about ultracapacitors. It's going to give the technology a challenge when they don't work well, because what we took 15 to 20 years to do, the technologists in China are claiming to be able to do in 1.5 to 2. It's not going to happen. It's going to be a difficult run. So there's a wide array of impediments. Some are real. Many of them are perceived. Time is running short. So that really was one of the messages I wanted to bring across. Yeah, all this stuff takes time, but we don't have a whole bunch of time. We don't have 30 years to solve our energy crisis unless we're willing to tolerate the lifestyle changes that are going to come along with it, or they're going to be forced upon us. So we either have to make some real decisions and push very hard on some real things that can happen today, or we have to sit and we have to watch this technology develop on its own time, in its own way, and be willing to take the changes that we're going to have to endure. I'm okay with it. I mean, if I had to, turn on half my lights at night instead of all of them. You look around, there's hundreds of ways to save energy today. You drive through parking lots, and the parking lots are completely lit up at 2 in the morning. Doesn't need to be. Every other light would be fine. But anyway, that's another. So what is it going to take? The life cycle costs are better than the competing technologies and getting better. The performance and reliability is unsurpassed. Scaling and supply is not an issue. However, I did make the second source comment. There's 5 or 6 of us that can do it. So today it's not an issue. Materials for production are not exotic. They're not in short supply. And the technology continues to bring higher performance. So I just have to ask, what the heck is everybody waiting for? So we need to recognize that they're ready. Engineering organizations need to take the plunge instead of the politically correct way out. And what I mean by that is some guy just put in a $10 million battery line. He's not going to go to his boss and say, hey, I want to do an ultracapacitor now. No way, no how, not going to happen. Suppliers of other technologies need to put their ego on hold and make sure the right technology decisions are made. And I'll just throw A123 under the bus. For years, we were trying to work with A123, and they're like, no, we don't need you. We got plenty of power. We got plenty of this, plenty of that. They've called us now. They're starting. It's okay. It's okay, but just recognize it for what it is and make the right decisions and be intellectually honest and do the right thing. The risk takers need to step up and make the move because they're ready. And if we achieve those things, UCs will have an immense impact on our energy future, and they're destined for that. We just need the people that are designing them in to make the right decisions and do it. So that's that. Thanks very much.